combos in this deck are sweet. Yes, I had to do it to you. Hello, welcome back to the channel. And today we're taking a look at the Sweets Relay deck, which is actually an insane deck. Let's take a look at the star of the deck, and that is the Alcremie with the Sweets Overload attack for 1 energy. You are doing 40 times the number of times you've used Sweets Relay throughout the entire game. So essentially what this deck is trying to do is you're sending in a lot of low HP, mind you, Mons into the active using Sweets Relay over and over again. And then as long as you can hit Sweets Relay at least like 4 to 5 times, Alcremie is KOing anything on your opponent's board. So that's essentially the name of the game. Everything in our deck can attack using Sweets Relay, so there's not any issues with using the Sweets Relay attack. It's just the timing of when to use Sweets Relay and when to come in with the Alcremie with the Sweets Overload. So let's take a look at the other attacker that we got in this new set. So here is Slurpuff with the Sweets Relay attack, but this attack is crazy because most of the other Sweets Relay attacks, they hit for 10 initially, and then every turn after that they're hitting for an extra 20, I believe, so they're hitting 30 altogether. Slurpuff is just built differently because it does Sweets Relay for 30 as its base damage, and then if you have used Sweets Relay the turn before, you're hitting for an extra 60, so you're hitting 90 altogether. That was my one issue when I first saw this Sweets Relay deck in the trailer, is that I thought the attacks were just going to be really weak, and so you're sending in a lot of low HP mons to just do like 10, 30 hits altogether, and essentially having to rely on the Alcremie as your only big attacker. But we do have the Slurpuff. Hitting for 90 is not anything to scoff at. You can use the Sweets Relay on the Slurpuff to apply a lot of pressure on your opponent's board, and then essentially take some knockouts with the Slurpuff itself, and then rely on the Alcremie to take those one big hit knockouts at the very end of the game. One key thing to note, all of our attacks are colorless, so we can use any type of energy, so we opt to play the water energy just because it pairs really nicely with Irida. We do have a lot of low HP Mons on our field, so if we can heal them in any way, Irida is the best way to do that because we're attaching energies all over our board. There's not a lot of huge energy commitments besides the Slurpuff, which requires 2 energy, which is not crazy at all. And so we don't want to, lose to like a Greninja ping just because our mons are so low HP. So Irida definitely does help keep our Pokemon alive, which means we can attack with more Sweets Relay, which means we can do some big knockouts with Sweets Overload. That's pretty much it for the list. A few key things I want to add. I do really like Guzma in the list just because we don't want to take any Rocky Helmet pings. We don't want to lose out on a knockout just because of a cape, things like that. So I really like Guzma. It does help with our damage and our survivability here and there. And then we also play capes ourselves because we want to, be able to use Sweets Relay more and more. So we want to keep our Pokemon alive as long as possible. A few other things. There are other Sweets Relay Pokemon in this set. So it's not just these 2 lines. We also have a Vanillite and a Vanillish that can do Sweets Relay. We also have an Appleton that can do Sweets Relay. I actually do want to visit that version of the build as well, just because Appleton is a grass type Pokemon, so you can pair that with, say, like Leaf Cape and Erica, but I definitely wanted to try this version out. I actually do like that it's just Slurpuff and Alcremie. Having Slurpuff out really early is really crucial for this deck, and it just makes the deck just way more powerful if you can just get Slurpuff online. That's enough yapping. Let's hop onto the ladder and I'll show you how this deck plays. We do get to go first, so we get the first Sweets Relay attack off, which is good. Okay. Let's go research. We also get cape. I probably need to comms here because if they they can't attack, so maybe I didn't need to comms, but I would like to put down a basic. Getting the Slurpuff is pretty good. This means next turn if they don't evolve, we actually knock out their Swirlix, and if they evolve then they can't Sweets Relay, so that's probably not in their best interest. So it looks like they're just gonna go Sweets Relay Penny to do what exactly? Yeah. What would they have gotten? Because Research would have drawn them cards. Maybe it was Guzma? No, Guzma would actually work here. Interesting. So yeah, we get the Slurpuff. And then yeah, we'll hit for 90. And then we're swinging. The Swirlix can hit for 10, but yeah, they don't have 2 energies on it, so they can't get a Slurpuff online. But the only thing they can do here is... Oh, they probably hit Sabrina. Ah, that is fun. Okay, it looks like they're just gonna start getting their Slurpuff, but not using Sweets Relay. I'm hitting what, 90? Yeah, that doesn't matter too much here. You can go ahead, attach. They're gonna hit for 90. Yeah, I think we're fine. We can just hit for 90. Don't feel like I'm getting knocked out here. I can Irida next turn. Ooh, the Sabrina does kind of suck. Okay, so the... we could actually just Sweets Relay. Because I'm hitting for 30. Sweets Relay, knockout for 30. Let's see what this Professors gets us. Okay, we get second Milcery. So this is good. That means I have Alcremie to knock out next turn. Yeah. And I can preserve this Slurpuff. So we'll just Sweets Relay knockout. And then we just need one more point. And we've done 4 Sweets Relay, so Alcremie is definitely going to knock out anything in their deck. And yeah, that's a good seed. So we definitely did have a... I mean, I wouldn't even say that. We had a pretty similar start to them. The Penny to Sabrina was interesting, but yeah, there you go. Alright, we're going second, and we do have the Slurpuff line, so that's going to be really good for us. Spheromosa, okay. So we could be either going up against Buzzwole or Decidueye. Let's Pokeball here. This gets us Milcery. I am almost hesitant to put it down. I actually just don't really want it to get pinged by Pheromosa. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just Sweets Relay. Because if they do ping it and they do somehow just start setting up a Decidueye, I don't want that Milcery to get knocked out by Decidueye's Pierce the Pain. Although if they do have the non-EX Decidueye, it can ping for 70, so I have to watch out for that. Okay, Pokeball, this is going to let us see what kind of deck this is. Based off of the sleeves, yeah, it's definitely Decidueye. They're just going to jump blues here, hit the active for 20, but we will knock it out, because Slurpuff is just broken. We can go ahead, put that down, put this down, attach to the active. We don't need a comms, I think I'm fine. And then we go Sweets Relay, hit for 90, take out the Pheromosa, and then we just have this Rowlet left. Rowlet has no energy. It gets Skill Dive, but unless they evolve into Decidueye. Okay, they are going to evolve into Decidueye, so we don't take a knockout on the Rowlet. And it is the Pierce the Pain Rowlet. Okay, they have Cape as well. We've done 2 Sweets Relay. Let's Calms away one of these Alcremies. Alright, we got Slurpuff. Not amazing. I would have liked to have seen another Milcery here. But we can do another Sweets Relay, so this is 3, so we're hitting for 120. which is unless they have like Erica or Lily, which they definitely will. We're not knocking out just yet, but they don't actually knock me out with Pierce the Pain. They're only doing 100, and Slurpuff has 120 with the cape, which is really nice. So, oh, I forgot about How. How does take a knockout. Okay. So we desperately do need to get another Milcery here. Oh no, they just go with Razor Leaf. Okay, so I think we win. Irida doesn't change anything. I'm just gonna play it so I don't have it in the deck if they do like red cards or Mars me. But yeah, Alcremie should be definitely is gonna be taking the knockout no matter what. We're hitting for 90 here. Even if they do retreat, we have Cyrus in our hand too. Alcremie's hitting for 160. So if they heal, the most they can heal is Lily, which they use research instead, so there's not going to be any healing. Yeah, they could retreat into Pheromosa here. Yep, there's that retreat. So we got Cyrus. We don't even need to use Alcremie this match. I think the Cyrus is just going to be enough with the Slurpuff to take the knockout on the Decidueye. And yeah, Slurpuff is just too good. Slurpuff is definitely too good. I do want to try a build with the Appleton, just because it is interesting. It gives you access to Leaf Capes and Ericas, but I definitely had to try out the Slurpuff, because look at that, just solos the game. Alright, so there's a Salandit in the active. Intriguing. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going up against. I thought it was Charizard EX, but could be Flareon. That is the new card. But no, just seeing double Salandit. Debating whether I want to research first or Pokeball first. I do want more basics, so I could research then Pokeball. Yeah, I think I will do that. I'll research first. We get a Milcery, and then I can Pokeball for Swirlix. Do this. Do this. Let's go Milcery. And then do Sweets Relay. I believe a Salazzle can knock me out? Or I guess new Salazzle does 40? But yeah, this is what I was worried about. Oh no, this is poison. There's one that does poison and burn. Okay, we have a cape. I could retreat this, go into Swirlix. Do this. Hit for 30. It's the best play I have. If I have Slurpuff, if I have Slurpuff next turn, that could be really good. If not, I actually have Giovanni, so I can knock out the Salazzle, which is fine. Alright, it's Incineroar Salazzle. Okay. Poison Claw hits us for 30. Can we get a Slurpuff here? Yes, we can. That is good. We can Slurpuff. Get rid of the poison. We're at 80. Incineroar with How can actually knock us out, so I'm gonna just put the cape on the active. I'm gonna evolve this Alcremie here. Let's go Sweets Relay, hit for 90. And then tank this hit here. Now we just have to hit the Incineroar. And then just come in with Alcremie, because we've done 2, 3 Sweets Relay. So remember we attacked with the Milcery as well. So we're hitting for 120. So between Slurpuff and the Alcremie, we should be able to take a knockout. And we also have Cyrus too. So if they try to retreat or do anything fancy, then we can counter that as well. What does my opponent choose to do? Now they could Guzma, which would suck. But if they Guzma, they don't Howl. So either way, our Slurpuff is going to survive. Seems like they don't even have Incineroar in hand, which could really suck for them. No, they do have it. Okay. They do have Incineroar. Incineroar is going to hit for 30. Plus burn is 50. Do they have the Howl? That's the question. They also have 5 seconds left. Okay, they just do Fire Fang. Alright. This is fine. Take the burn damage. Does that heal? Yes, we heal from burn. So we don't take an extra 20. That's fine. Guzma doesn't do us anything. Sabrina doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attach to my Alcremie on the bench. Is there any point in Giovanniing? Because we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So we hit for 160. If they Lily, right, that puts them at 100. I think we should be fine. Let's do Giovanni this turn in case they do try to retreat. That way I have access to Cyrus next turn. Plus this extra 10 damage. So we'll hit them for 100. So now they're at 80. If they Lily, they go up to 140. Don't think they're playing potions or things like that in this version of the deck. There's that Lily. But Alcremie should take the knockout. Yep, and Scar's charged Smash. Take a knockout on the Slurpuff, but the Alcremie is definitely going to be doing enough damage. I think it's doing 160 here. And then we just top decked the other Alcremie, so if for some reason this Alcremie went down, we did have the second one to take the knockout as well. But yeah. Pretty good stuff, pretty good stuff. Okay, we have Swirlix into Slurpuff. Love that. And we are going second, so we have the advantage of attacking first. And we are going up against a Darkrai. Darkrai pings can be difficult, but they're not going to get online super quickly, right? So that's going to be to our advantage. Let's just play these Pokeballs out in the deck. I would like to see some supporters. Our hand's lacking some crucial supporters here. Let's go ahead, just throw these guys down. And let's just Sweets Relay for 10. Alright, next turn we're hitting for 90, which is very good. And they are playing a mix of Dark and Lightning energy, which is interesting. So they'll get Lightning onto Magneton, Dark on Darkrai, but then next turn they can't put Dark on Darkrai, so they're gonna have to wait an extra turn. Unless, okay, they don't technically have to wait, but they can attach Lightning, but they're not going to get the ping. Ooh, I think this is the play. I want to definitely get rid of their Magneton here. Yeah, let's do this. So we can just play our hand down. And just get rid of Magneton, not even worry about that as a threat. And then this Darkrai's pretty much out of commission next turn. They're not going to be able to do much with it. Right, they have Lightning energy, so they're not getting a Darkrai or the Nightmare Aura ping. Because it is whenever you attach a dark energy, right? Not mistaken? Yeah. So it has to be dark. Ooh, and they did get double lightning. Okay, they have Giratina, so they're not out of this just yet. We're getting so many free hits on a Darkrai. I think this is pretty much chalked unless there's something my opponent can do. But we also have Cyrus in the deck, and because we hit this for 10, that Cyrus is going to be able to let us knock out the Darkrai at any point. Alright, we have a cape. I'm gonna put the cape on the active. I know it doesn't really matter. Everything on my board is gonna get knocked out pretty easily by both Darkrai or Giratina. Or maybe I should have put it on Alcremie, because then that does put it away from Dark Prism. Yeah, that's probably the better play. But it's fine. If I can just Slurpuff hit as long as I can, then we should be set. They're gonna retreat here. So we're getting free hits on both Giratina and Darkrai. I don't know, for some reason this feels like my opponent just forgot to like get rid of the energy in the deck. When you do like the deck builder, sometimes it just auto corrects your deck into having all the different types of energy that are in your deck, so like Psychic, Dark, and Lightning. But yeah, it feels like my opponent forgot to get rid of those extra things and just have Dark. Because you don't typically play this deck like this. Alright, well I have Center Lady. They're sticking it out, which props to them. But yeah, they can't attack with Tina, they can't attack with Darkrai, they have leftovers. Okay, super tanky version of the build. Haven't seen this yet. How many Sweets Relay have we done? We've done 1, 2, 3. Can we knock it out? We can just knock out this Tina, right? Well, let's Guzma just to make sure. I could check the battle log. Let's see. We've done. I'm just gonna double check. So we've done 2 on the Darkrai, 1 on Tina. Yeah, we can definitely knock out this Tina. If I've missed this, I will be very upset. Oh yeah, we've done 4. So 160, definitely knocking out any of their EXs. Yeah, definitely feels like my opponent messed up with their deck building and forgot to change their energies. I do hate that about Pocket, that it does like auto-correct the energies for you. Definitely change that. Slurpuff